Hi guys, Christian here. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a floor plan of any existing home in under 5 minutes using an app called Cubicasa. I interview one of the owners on this video, and he shows how easy it is to use your mobile phone, walk around the perimeter of the house in under 5 minutes, and create a detailed floor plan that's perfect for homeowners, real estate professionals, or contractors. At the end of this video, you'll see how easy it is to download the app and get your first floor plan for free. So let's dive right in.
I'll jump into this order to show you what it's all about. So this is actually a scan of my apartment in Chicago. It's about 12 or 1,300 square feet. And so to see some different features in the bathroom, you can see in the master bath and the guest bathroom. The master bath has that double vanity, has a jacuzzi tub compared to just the single vanity and the standard tub and shower over there. And then also with the stand-up shower in the master bath as well. So it does recognize those kind of unique types of features in there. And then in the kitchen, it does point out the island along with where the appliances are located with the oven and the dishwasher, sink, and refrigerator as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that all looks fairly standard. The things that I usually add that I think look good as well is like in the family room, the couch where the sofa typically goes and the coffee tables and that type of thing. And then in the bedrooms, assuming, where the beds would be and if there's also 2 additional closets or armoires or that type of thing. So those were just a couple of the questions.
Like virtual staging?
Yeah, exactly. Well, not really. Virtual staging goes way above and beyond when they Photoshop all of the furniture in. But like in a 2D floor plan like this, you can kind of do a layout of like, okay, here's where a sectional sofa would go, and here's where the TV would be mounted, and all those little things that you can kind of show in the floor plan itself. But in a 3D model, I guess you could go a lot further, like a Matterport or that type of thing. And I didn't know if you guys were going to also too move in that direction. I know that like the dollhouse versions of floor plans and things like that are typically done the same way, where you scan everything in and then it creates that that Matterport or that 3D version. Is that kind of where you guys are headed, or do you have any idea where the roadmap is for the next 2.0 or 3.0 in your business?
Sure. Yeah. So the idea for 3D floor plans is definitely not a new one. It's definitely one that we have focused on. It's actually something we used to do, and it wasn't done inside of our platform. And even a fun fact to take one half step back is that we produce the floor plans for Matterport.
Okay.
So we actually scan it and hit buy floor plans. We are the ones that produce it. So we're kind of the dark knight of that. That technology. They don't do it themselves as much as they may claim they do, and I know that because I worked there for 3.5 years. But the actual producing of the black and white floor plan with the measurements and dimensions and everything is done by us. And so our company actually started on the ability to redraw floor plans from an existing sketch or an existing blueprint.
Okay.
And so people would deliver us an old, maybe out of date floor plan, and we would redraw it and make it look nice and pretty and put your own logo on it and just kind of give it the update that it needs. Mm-hmm. And then after that, we rolled out the mobile application that you could scan to create a floor plan. And so when you actually scan, let me actually just pull up a video for illustration's sake. And this kind of gives you a pretty good idea of how the technology actually works from the back end. Mm-hmm. So there's 3 different panes here. On the top left is what you are actually doing as the scanner. The top right is our system then making a kind of de facto point cloud from that scan. And on the bottom, it's showing the floor plan starting to be built out from that, and also the green lines, the route that you take or are taking throughout the home. And so it doesn't necessarily do it in real time like this. This is more of an illustration to show you how our technology kind of interprets a space. But as you go, it fills out more and more, and kind of solidifies that with the colorization of the space down on the bottom. Mm-hmm. But it is a proprietary kind of scan technique that we've put into our mobile app, and some people are even taking that and putting it into their own scanning and data collection app with like an SDK or API integration.
Gotcha. Yeah, I really like the way that, everything appears to work on the, I'll use it the next couple of days here and see how the actual interface is. And I just by looking at the video that you have there, you see how it shows kind of on the scan itself. It's got the sofa and the beds and things like that. But those are things that you guys just omit when it comes down to the 2D floor plan.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't put any of the kind of optional or non-permanent objects. It's all any permanent fixtures like cabinets or an island or things like that we do include in the floor plan. But that's not to say that you can't redesign on top of what you produce with us. And so I think that's part of what Magic Plan does with if they are including some of that added furniture is they're just building that on top of the scan, which is not out of the realm of possibility. But I don't know how soon it would be included in our kind of organic platform that we have. But there's no such thing as impossible as far as this goes. We are a very kind of young and agile company, and so we can always look into doing new and kind of intuitive and innovative things with the finished floor plan. But right now we're actually kind of touting ourselves as the fastest and easiest way to draw a floor plan, period.
Yeah.
And kind of getting to that point is really important, and then growing it from there to do all the other things is definitely another discussion.
Okay. I got you. I know that the actual cost is right now like $35. Is that right?
Yeah, let me jump over there. So it's $34.90 for the kind of off-the-shelf plan to be a certified photographer, which I would absolutely recommend you signing up to do. If you have a website and a logo, you get a discount on the scan and also a profile on our website.
Okay. I actually sent in the application to them, but they came back and said that I didn't qualify. I know I'm the broker of the office, and I typically do most of the scans for our listings and things like that. So I just wasn't sure what the criteria was in order to get the certified photographer. I'm the one who actually does most of the Matterport scans and 3D tours and everything else as far as the office goes.
Sure. I mean, I think if you were to advertise yourself as that kind of service provider rather than as the broker, it would be more acceptable. But I can also just give you the 30% discount on your account without adding you to the certified photographer program, because that also then just gives you a slot or a dual profile here on our website of folks that are essentially for hire.
Okay.
Which I guess you wouldn't necessarily want to do. But I can always just add that discount code to your account.
Okay. Do you find that most of the people that are using Cubicasa are real estate agents and brokers? Is there any like home owners themselves that are doing it for home improvement projects or that type of thing?
Not so much. So it is mostly, I'd even say it's more often real estate photographers or media production companies that are using this more frequently. Real estate agents and brokers definitely do pick this up and use it themselves, but when you are working with a photography company and they offer floor plans as one of their services, it becomes a no-brainer to just have kind of that one-stop shop for it. But we definitely do get agents and brokers that do this themselves because it is very easy.
Gotcha. How many floor plans have you guys done, or when was the company actually, I guess, founded?
So the company's about 5.5 years old, and we do between all of the different kind of tiers of our services, we do about 30,000 plus per month.
Wow, that's a lot more than I would have thought.
Yeah, quite a few. Well, if you consider all the ones that we do for Matterport, as well as we're based in Finland, and so that's where we have a really strong presence as well. Because in Finland, it's actually required that you have a floor plan for every home listing.
Which it should be in the U.S. as well, but for some reason it's not.
Right, and we're trying to get to that point where when floor plans are required or a de facto part of a listing presentation, that we can be kind of the go-to for making that, because it is simple, fast, and definitely scalable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I would love to have homeowners do, prior for us to come over, is just to be able to scan their properties in so that we can see, exactly what it looks like online. As we have the COVID pandemic and things now, obviously
Sure.
things are getting a lot more virtual. But it'd be great to have the homeowner themselves do this, and now we could meet via Zoom and go through the entire house, know what the layout looked like, and not even have to meet in person.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are a couple companies that essentially have like a not an open MLS, but like doing like for sale by owner.
Hmm.
And rather than okay, hey, here hire these photographers, it's like, hey, here's a DIY guide for taking your own pictures, making your own floor plans, making your own videos, so that you can make your house listing stand out. And we are one of the more commonly referred solutions for that because it is something that's so quick.
Cool. Yeah, it definitely is going to be useful, especially for homeowners that have that want to do a lot of the work, or even have some home improvements done. How accurate are the actual dimensions? I know that's one of the things that me as a broker and agents in particular have an issue with, is that a lot of times we'll get called out on the square footage of a home being different than what's in the tax records, or um, is there how I guess how accurate are I know that it says, like on your example there, 11.5 by 15.1. Is it down to the inch? Is it down to the millimeter? Is how accurate can it assume to be?
Sure. So, kind of the canned answer is it's about 95% accurate, and that's from the comparing hand sketched floor plans that are using a laser measure and a lot of precision to scanning it with your cell phone and creating this in 5 minutes. So there is that discrepancy of about 5%, and we have found it can be more accurate depending on the scanning technique, and it can also be less accurate depending on the scanning technique. And so it's a lot of it's based on how you actually scan the home and how much data you provide to that overall scan. But it also will continue to evolve because our system is largely based on machine learning. And so as it takes in more examples and more data, it gets better and more accurate as you go. But with iPhone and also the most recent iPad having LiDAR in there for depth perception, that will continue to get exponentially more accurate to the nearest like tenth of an inch. And so we are doing a early beta with the iPad Pro using LiDAR, and now we'll also do the same with the iPhone when it does come out with LiDAR. That it will be the best possible option for making a extremely accurate floor plan. But in the meantime, you have to be as kind of cell phone ubiquitous as you can to get as many people using it as you can.
Hmm.
And so kind of the chicken or the egg kind of conversation comes in.
Right.
But with an iPhone 11 compared to like an iPhone 7, it does get more accurate. We found just because the depth perception and the kind of the AR sensing in there is a lot more developed. But that's the difference between a couple percentage points. But I do know from this being my apartment that this is accurate. It might be an inch or maybe 2 inches off in some spots, but it is almost completely spot on.
That's great. That's good to know. Yeah, I know, especially for people who are doing some remodeling or home improvement projects. Obviously, when it comes to flooring, especially, we had a lot of the hardwood laminate flooring installed in one of our listings, and getting it down to the nearest at least square foot is extremely beneficial when you're going to buy materials and that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And for that, I would definitely recommend being very diligent on the scan, just to make sure that you get all the minor details of where the corners are located and everything. And that it will be used for that. But most of those like flooring companies, they'll come in and do their own measurements and estimates themselves with like laser measures so they can get it down to the nearest millimeter. We're not quite there yet, but that's not to say that we won't be there as soon as the LiDAR is available in mobile devices.
Yeah, definitely. I know on the website too, I think that you mentioned that home buyers, the second most important thing that they have on their list, other than I guess pictures, is typically when it comes to floor plans. And so is that measured by just a poll of who likes what or what they feel like would be what they look at, what they want to see? I don't know where you get the information from, but I do believe that people want to know what the layout of the home is. They can't make a real accurate determination until they've seen the layout. And obviously, like you said, in other countries other than the U.S., floor plans are required. But do you hear from home buyers who say, "Yeah, I saw that the family room was next to the bedroom, and I didn't like that," or I like to see the floor plan. It really gave me a good indication. I could put in an offer, I guess, without even having to see the property.
Right. Yeah. No. Absolutely. And that is definitely more evident with the pandemic and not being able to go and see as many homes as you would like. And in the absence of a Matterport tour or a really accurate virtual tour, a floor plan is the perfect addition to photos, because photos can be as beautiful as you want, but unless you have photos of every hallway and every room and how it's laid out, it's really hard to understand, okay, where is this room compared to where is it placed in comparison to the rest of the home. The floor plan is almost invaluable to be able to have that layout. And they're aside from companies like Magic Plan, we're really kind of the best fit for anybody needing to scan and do it quickly and have that back the next day. There really isn't much as far as competition, and we're definitely not comfortable with where we're at, and we're always trying to continue moving forward, but also being very customer centric. We want to make sure that what we're delivering is what you're wanting, and that we can always fix it if something's wrong, which actually speaks to one of my kind of main points here of the dashboard view is this fix request. And so if there's ever anything wrong, you can describe what's wrong and we'll fix it within about an hour or so. And so if you need to have windows moved over, if the fireplace is completely positioned wrong, or anything is wrong with this, you can describe what's wrong and we will fix that to the best of our ability. We have like a full editor tool that we can even add on additional rooms or things if you forgot to scan an entire part of the home. But this is also just to make sure that when you are delivering something to your client, that it's exactly what you're wanting to deliver, not a little bit short or a little bit off here and there. And that also goes for the measurements too.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. I love the fact of being able to fix as, undoubtedly there's going to be those issues that pop up. Like you said, there's going to be a window or a door, or a bathtub or something that needs to be rearranged or replaced. And it's always good to be able to get those things done as quick to real time as possible.
Yeah, definitely. And I just opened up our quick edit tool, which is also available, and you can make as many adjustments and changes as you want. So this allows you to change the room labels.
Yeah, so you could call that master bedroom and master bathroom.
Mm-hmm. And as those terms are being kind of phased out, we're since we're a global company, we haven't made that change holistically, and so it is still automatically labeled as master bedroom and master bath, but you can change these to whatever you want. If this is actually an office, you can just come to type in office and it will change that for you. And you can move these around. You can also hide or not show the dimensions for individual rooms if you want to toggle them on and off. And also you can download an entire floor plan without dimensions if you just want to show the overall layout.
Great. I think
we
that's
are
perfect.
Working on building out more features in here. This is a pretty new tool. It used to be all done through the fix requests, but we realized that when you want to make a quick fix, you don't want to have to wait on us to do it for you.
Yeah, no, that's great. I like the fact of the DIY where you can get it done immediately.
Yeah, definitely. And as soon as you make any changes, you just hit the floppy disk and it gets done within like 2 or 3 minutes.
Perfect. Well, great. Well, I like it a lot. I think that there'll be some definitely use cases as we go. And is your biggest competitor right now Magic Plan? Is there anybody else that's out there that's doing similar things?
I would say Magic Plan is probably the closest comparison to us. There are other kind of floor plan technologies, but they're not as user friendly. They're made more for like professional usage and not just anybody that wants to be able to do it. I think there's like Room Sketcher, and then a company called Floorplanner is actually a cool technology, but they don't do the like front end capture of it. You can give them a floor plan to make into a cool looking 2D floor plan with, virtual staging, or they can make it into a 3D floor plan with some cool views and stuff, but they don't like produce that initial sketch of the floor plan. So they rely on you for that. But this is, you can take our floor plan, put it through their system and get, their product, but it doesn't necessarily compete with us on the creation level, I guess.
Sure. I guess my last question, is there anybody out there right now that's doing, I guess, a lot of their business real estate brokerage wise in California or other places that would be like a reference that we could look at and say, wow, they've done a lot of these and it's working really well for
them? I'd have to look and see. I don't necessarily have we have a list in the usages and things like that, but we don't necessarily monitor it on the industry type level. But I can definitely take a look and see if there is one that does it more often than not. But it might be tough to kind of narrow those down if they're doing it for active listings, if those listings are no longer up and active.
Yeah, is there a way to keep these online? Is it best to just kind of, are people putting them on their YouTube videos, or like when they do a virtual tour, are they using them as virtual tour tools, or is there any specific use cases that you've seen out there where they're cool? I know that with a lot of, not Matterport, but with some of the other virtual tours, you can have the 2D floor plan and then have the hot spots and people can zoom into specific rooms when they go into the tour.
Yeah, absolutely. So Rico tours, they allow you to use our floor plan in there as a kind of a heads up display, and also as a, you click on this to view the whole layout type thing. But I also see a lot of folks that will take this and then using their own tools, they'll put in 360 panoramic shots of each room on top of these. All this is obviously done outside of our platform, but this makes a great base for any of those types of use cases. But it's pretty wide, and I see a lot of people that use it in conjunction with a drone video that they'll, as they're zooming with the drone, they'll show a snapshot of the floor plan and then go into their slideshow of photos of the inside of the house in replacement of a Matterport tour. But yeah, it's across the board, used very, very differently by a lot of people. So it's tough to say, oh yeah, it's being used a lot by this type of company. It's really anybody that needs to create a floor plan. And the nice thing about it for you, we kind of throw this out to you, is you can put your own logo on these, but then that can't be then put in the MLS, obviously. But if you're using it for your own promotional purposes, your logo can appear in the bottom left-hand corner, and that's just done through the account settings. And so you can also adjust the color of the walls and the floors. So if you wanted to make it any color that you want, you can standardize that, and this will then be applied to every order that you do. And so you can drop in your own logo up here as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's great. It seems to be a lot of different use cases, and as we get more to completely virtual real estate sales, which I think will probably come along here now sooner rather than later, it's definitely going to be a tool and a tool belt to use with everything else, like you said. Right now I'm doing complete tours that include Matterport, 3D, 2D, dollhouse views, virtual staging, everything that you could possibly do, so that people who are even not in the area, we're in San Diego, but we can sell homes in Sacramento or San Francisco. And as long as you've got the same tool set, it makes it pretty easy, and people can see them and tour them and view them from all over the world. And I think that's kind of one of the misconceptions that was there for real estate for a long time, was people won't buy a home unless they can walk inside it. And I'm like, well, not really. If you know what it looks like and you can make that determination ahead of time, there's no reason why you ever have to walk inside, at least not until you've got an accepted contract. And maybe at that point you want to go see everything.